Back
We're
to YouTube
preparing
Studio.
to live stream.
I'm going to go content. I'm going to go live. I'm going to go edit. I'm going to go cards. Your video is currently processing. Okay.
Okay, I have come back to, it seems, the same URL. Let me see if,
See if that's showing up yet.
yeah, no, I'm streaming and we're streaming to the old URL. Let me just show you what
No,
I
no,
got.
that should be fine. That's fine. That's fine.
Okay,
That sounds like it's probably right. Um, so I'm going to go over to this one and see if I can see in the control room. I'm not seeing anything.
that's what I'm
What's that
seeing.
one?
That's me.
Collaborative. Okay, no, I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it. Okay, perfect. Right, we have. Why
We're
is it
there.
saying? Why is it starting the stream? I think this is live. Sorry,
No.
sorry, anyone in the public that is seeing this.
Ah,
Um, we are troubleshooting. I just want to see
why did it
if
go
I'm actually
live?
seeing. Yeah, it says we're live. Okay. Hello,
Well, I'll
public.
get us out
Sorry, we're
of
just dealing with
gallery
some
mode.
stuff. Sorry, we are live, but I think Zoom is setting it live. I think Zoom is putting it live. So,
Yes,
hey,
automatically.
early people. We're just getting ready. We're just getting ready. We're just going to be a few more minutes. So don't go anywhere. You can watch it behind the scenes, see what's happening. Um, but we are basically live. I'll put the timer up. If you can like pin me, John,
Yes.
then
Yeah,
we
you're
can
going to be
have the countdown
spotlight.
timer.
Yep.
Yeah. Um, okay, so this is what's going out on the stream.
Yes.
Okay, I'm still talking. And then I may just mute my microphone. Although that then everyone's okay. But everyone can just listen to us while while we count down to the start of the stream. How's everyone doing? What we need to figure out why Zoom started the stream on its own without asking for permission.
That was a
Um,
surprise.
yeah. Maybe there's like a setting in there that's like, as soon as I receive data, start streaming. What's this?
Yes.
Automatic chapters. I'm just having a look through. Uh, yeah. So we did exactly the same thing. So at least you know you didn't do anything wrong.
You keep
Um,
saying that.
at least you know.
Yeah.
Is there
I,
anyone in chat then?
let me
Seth,
check.
hello. Um, there isn't anyone in chat. Do you know the annoying thing about this is I can't. Anyway, so I have made that other video now. It just says there's a link in the description to the real stream. So people should be able to find us. See description for the real stream. And I'm also going to put it in the top comment, hopefully. How do I find out the stream address? Copy. Where did you, oh, it was up there, wasn't it? No? Share. Copy. And then I'm going to put this in top comment, and I'm going to pin that as CueCam presenter. Switch account. I'm going to pin my channel. Where's my channel? Your videos. History. I'm going to do this in the desktop. Hi everyone. Is anyone here yet? Um, or we can just stay quiet.
Yeah, no, we seem to be there. And I see your timer.
Oh,
I can
timer.
say hello.
Why is that not? I just put a comment up.
I don't see your comment.
Yeah, what's going on there?
I'll put a comment in.
I'm just trying to put a link to. Oh, here it is. Let's try this. Comment.
Oh, I see your comment and you see my comment and we both have the same name. So you said hello, I said hello.
Oh no, that's the chat. I'm talking about the comments of
Oh,
the video that I sent to everyone, where I have put a link to this stream. So I'm just trying to put something in the top comment of that video,
got
but
it.
it's being annoying. Okay, so I'm going to paste that. I'm going to comment, and I am going to pin it. Pin. Okay, and I'm going to edit it. Over here. Save. Of course, this is going to be a very unwieldy VOD now. But we've got the countdown timer so people can find the start.
Yeah, if somebody's looking, we're going to see
I
eventually.
don't see any viewers, which I'm actually quite surprised about. Because oh yeah, okay. How do I see analytics, chat rate, views 0? We'll see what happens. Let's put a link into the
Yep.
once again. Okay, general. Once again, everyone. Here is a link to the real stream. Send to 200 plus people. Okay, so you're ready with your so I've got like a I don't know, like maybe 10 minutes of stuff, and then I'll hand over to you guys and maybe interject here and there with questions or to
That would
try and
be
help
great.
clarify or whatever it is.
Yep.
But yeah, I'll let you take over. But I've got sort of not, I've got bits and bobs to talk about. A
Yes,
surprising amount to talk about considering. Um, so yeah, I'll just do my updates and then hand you over. My nieces and nephews are all very excited about their new cousin.
oh my, I can imagine. You have turned into a father. You're a
Mm.
different person to them now.
Oops. Okay. 1:25. I am anxious at the lack of. Oh, we see. I see. I'm anxious at the lack of chat or anything going on in the in YouTube studio. I feel like no one's here, and I would like some people to come. I see one viewer. Usually I have the eCam window open and it's showing me.
Oh, there
Um,
you are. Yeah, you're flying
it does
blind
this.
a little bit.
Yeah, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Four are watching
Okay.
now.
Oh,
That's us three.
okay.
Yeah,
All right. I see a number. Hey,
yeah.
hey. If you're watching the stream, guys, people, please stick something in chat to reassure us that we didn't like mess up the live event so much that no one's going to find it. We need to figure out why Zoom. I think why would Zoom be automatically putting like starting the broadcast? I mean, it would
It,
be convenient in some situations, but
it
there must
may
be a
be in the
button there somewhere.
CueCam presenter account on YouTube may have it set up that way.
It's possible, but I mean, when you did that demo, it wasn't set up, so I
No.
don't know. I'm assuming it's
Yeah.
not. Okay, we're getting ready to go. I'm back, and so are the Johns. Join us to see how cues, cameras, and iterations make for better presentations. We're going to show you how to transform even simple ideas into fully documented and reproducible performances using CueCam Present. And I have music in my headphones, but here is my child.
Buongiorno.
And we'll go on the sneeze. That's little Harvey. I should probably not be quite too public with this, but I think it's nice. He's a baby. Um, this is Squares TV App Lab number 55, where I show you how to tie together your Mac, iPhone, and iPad with all the apps I've been making and talking about via Squares TV. And it's not just me this week. Say hi to John Ittleson and John During. Here they are.
Hello,
Hello, and
They
hello.
unpin themselves.
Yeah,
Can
yeah.
anyone see you?
well, and what a beautiful baby, Michael.
Yeah,
Thank
we're
you.
delighted that we could stick our finger in the dike while you were away last week. So welcome back.
Yeah, and we've got out of it a great a really good new a new format that we're sort of, it's like my baby soon will have has some teething problems, but I'm happy. I'm really excited to not be alone doing this. But nevertheless, before I do hand off to the Johns this week, to you guys, I did want to do a quick wee update for all of you. And I'm becoming Scottish because I've talked to so many Scottish people in the hospital. But yeah, everything went great in the hospital last week. The baby's doing great. I was sort of like downplaying the experience. Hi, Tom. But like one moment I did have with this was like I have never felt so wanted and needed in my entire life than sitting with my partner and my baby last week. I was like, oh, I really, really matter to these people. So that was a really nice moment for me. But I've still managed to get a bit of work done. So we've got some updates on Shoot. You can now pinch if the teleprompter is too small, John. That is on test flight. But if the teleprompter text that you see in Shoot is a little bit small, you can just pinch and that will work. That's test flight first, and then we'll roll that out soon. I don't know when I'm next going to roll out a live thing, but if you want to get onto the test flight, that's easily done, and then you can sort of see what's coming down the pipe in Shoot. And the next thing was Jim Innes noticed that pause points can be a bit broken in Video Pencil. If you're not familiar, Video Pencil lets you add points to a video where it will automatically pause so you can focus and sort of draw. So a sports game, you'd pause it at the point you want it to stop and then sort of do something and then resume. And it's just a nice way of sort of breaking up a video and not having to kind of remember to pause it each time. But Jim noticed that while, here's what it looks like when it works. It's quite a clunky interface, to be honest. I sort of threw it together quite quickly. If you've just got one pause point, it looked like that. But if you put too many, the video got tiny. And basically, this wasn't a scroll view. So that is now fixed on the beta. So Jim, you should not have any problems with that. Again, that's on test flight. So keep an eye out if you're having that problem. Hey, Jeff. Next thing is I posted CueCam on Hacker News. Let's make sure this video is not playing sound. And got a lot of really good feedback. So the main thing that came out of that was I've clarified the pricing page a little bit. But yeah, this is all the conversations around CueCam. I'm sort of scrolling up that. And this is all sort of like, this is Y Combinator, which is that what do you call it? Like a Silicon Valley incubator where they have lots of nerds like making software and stuff, and it's quite hard to get noticed. It's an upvote thing. It's quite hard to get noticed on there. I've posted a lot of stuff. It's quite unusual to actually get people to respond. But yeah, threw it up on the Friday. I noticed on Sunday when I checked the users on the website that lots of people, I saw a lot of HNs on there. I was like, oh, has there been a discussion? So yeah, some really interesting stuff. I think one really interesting thing was that I'd been sort of resisting was CueCam is made to go through the webcam. But a lot of people were saying, yeah, but you're going to get degraded video quality. And I just want to be able, whereas the screen share is going to be crisp. And I'm like, okay. But then someone said, like, well, why can't we have a shareable program window that we can screen share? So if we do want to take over the entire stream with a screen share, you don't have to sort of sacrifice your face. Like you can still be doing this show, but it can be coming via the screen share instead of via the normal webcam, and maybe you'll get a different compression experience. It might work better if you're doing stuff that's a lot more text. So and then if you can get the sound, and I want to somehow make that work with audio sharing so that the sound comes straight from that screen share as well. So this is something I'm not going to look at immediately, but I thought that was a really interesting angle on this. So sometimes you do want to broadcast, you do want to take everyone's screens over, but like ideally not with a janky sort of full screen thing with a bullet point in the corner and there's not much going on. the only other thing I was going to talk about, that something I thought, like someone said, like I have to ask, why a subscription? Why can't I download this software like I do with all my other presentation software? What value does a subscription buy me? And I was thinking about this. I think I have a good reason which I haven't heard discussed before, um, which is, while it is true, yes, it's true. I have been trying to find a subscription model just because for me that's more viable for a business. If I can find something that's going to work as a subscription, I've been like hoping to find something. I felt like I'd got there with CueCam because it gives you this ecosystem. But that's not really your problem, is it? Like as a user, you just want to know what the price is. Like, who cares if my business works? But I do. But the thing is, the way I work alone, and what I'm very good at is spinning up new features in a few hours. And with a subscription model, I can just release those changes continuously. So you keep getting these new features and improvements on a weekly or monthly basis. And I don't have to like deal with the overhead of partitioning it all up into blocks of content. So if I had to come up with a release schedule, I'd have to make a lot of decisions. There's a lot of decision overhead, design overhead about cordoning off different features, coming up with names for things, marketing materials, deciding what goes where. And this is just a huge mental and technically cordoning off the features is such a huge technical overhead. And I'd be juggling Git branches across multiple pieces of software. Like, say, it's hard enough. Like, if I want to improve how Shoot connects to CueCam, I'm now in two different pieces of software. If there were versions of those that kind of locked you out of different features, like you can see the technical thing that it's just like it just explodes. So if
Well,
I
and
can just continuously,
you're caught between a rock and a hard spot,
yeah,
because there are some of us who were around when you just bought the software. And then we got frustrated about the subscription because then you said, I'm buying it over, buying it again and again and again. But any one of us had probably had experience where you bought a piece of software and then it wasn't supported. And we're getting to a subscription model, and I prefer a subscription model because now I have an ongoing relationship with that piece of software and the developer. But yeah, it's a hard challenge, Michael, to figure out
it
what's
is
going to
hard.
work.
And something,
And pr-
my Shoot lifetime updates, in-app purchase, you get updates for life. I tried that, and a lot of people love that. But I realized, some people don't have that kind of upfront money. So it is sort of, again, like useful. I'm only going to use this for one presentation. I'm going to try this. Can I just pay for 1 month and like, just reactivate it and deactivate it as time goes on? And you're sort of not really able to do that with a, upfront purchase either. So there's the pros and cons to each, but for me, one thing I hadn't seen was it's really easy to underestimate how much overhead goes into deciding what goes into what and updating the website and having a version 2, a version 3 website. This just lets me focus on the features and giving people stuff that's going to be useful and means that I can, put my baby in nice clothes or whatever. I don't know. Here and there. Yeah. So on that note, between that, this is interesting that someone else can jump in the middle of my my thing. So thanks for that, John.
Sorry, I
And
didn't want to
also,
interrupt you, but I
yeah,
just wanted to tell you, that I was pleased with the subscription, and you know who your
yeah.
base is. But you also have free versions that you could try or time things. It's all those things are possible.
Mm.
Oh,
Oh,
There he is. Oh, he's hungry though. He's grumpy.
oh,
He's okay. Shaz, you, you've got it. I've been left. I'm gonna have to have him on my lap for a bit. Okay.
the ultimate multitasking.
No, I could do it, but I think he might not like me. Oh, he just sucked my thumb. He's hungry. Um, so between that sort of thing, I have been tinkering with the website because I sort of feel like this is all, any of this time I have now is like I didn't think I was going to have any of it. So I've been tinkering. So I've been touching the website a little bit, seeing if I can clarify the pricing a bit. I think some people didn't spot that there was a free version. It wasn't obvious because I sort of changed it to this core thing. I kind of feel like maybe there should be a checkbox for. I'm trying to figure out, like, do I have a checkbox for yes, I want Shoot and Video Pencil, but that to me feels like I'm doing like an upsell, like a EasyJet or something. But I really feel these things are greater than some of their parts and they are core parts of the experience. So I don't really want them to feel like optional extras. But on the other hand, it's like, do I say from 9.99 or do I say 13.99? Then when people click on it and they go, you can get some discounts. But so there's some stuff about the pricing thing. But anyway, I've been tinkering with some stuff. So I'm going to show you. I got my Elgato prompter set up today. So I have been making some tweaks to the teleprompter window because I just wanted it, because it's quite a small screen, but I just like full screen didn't work on the teleprompter window and it was a bit awkward. So I just spent this morning making it so now the teleprompter window you can full screen it. You can select it can be a transparent window still, but there'll be nothing there if it's full screen. You can select your program feed and see that, but now you can select any other window. So you can select your Zoom window and that will just come onto the full screened teleprompter window. And it's just a little bit more of a convenient, coherent experience. And you know what? Like I was preparing for this stream and I kind of finished around 3:30. And I was sitting around going, I've got 2 hours to do something. I don't really want to touch CueCam because I don't want to like break anything before the stream. But then I thought, oh, I should make this teleprompter demo, this Elgato prompter demo. So I literally, in an hour, with the power of CueCam, spun up like this SEO-friendly, how to get the most out of a Elgato prompter on your Mac. 2 takes. Loads of like transitions. I went to the webcam, I went to this and that and the other, circled some things. I think it's a cool little video and we'll see if but yeah, I've been meaning to do that for ages and it was just, oh my God, it took me like an hour. And
Well, that's
15
great.
minutes of that was the thumbnail, like it was.
Well, John and I are both using a teleprompter. We're using a different one. And I have the Elgato, and like you said, the resolution is lower on that. I think it's 1200 by 700. We have a full resolution screen, and I assume that you're changing the resolutions and size will work on any screen other than the Elgato, whatever the display. But
Yeah.
we have been collaborating back and forth, which is what we're going to talk about later. And when both of you have a teleprompter, or in our case, we have an IVE device called an Ivy, it really changes interaction. We found ourselves jumping from the teleprompter screen and using the demo mode of CueCam, and then flipping back to have the good eye contact that we have. So I don't know whether you've had that feeling playing with the teleprompter, but how the difference it is when you really are doing live interaction. And I assume it's going to be a lot better when we see your video because you're going to be looking straight at the people who are watching.
Yeah. I mean, I've had a bigger prompt ready so this is sort of exactly the same, but now I don't have to run duet and I don't have this like iPad like rattling about in front of it that always moves, and I'm like, am I level or is the iPad level? So it's just very slightly more self-contained. So I didn't think I was going to care, and I thought the brightness might not be up to the iPad, but I mean the colors aren't quite exact, but yeah, it's really convenient, to be honest. I'm quite enjoying it. So but yeah, definitely teleprompters all the way. So obviously with CueCam, you can even just do it on a phone screen as well. It's sort of close enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's much better if you can look through the lens and see who you're talking to. The other thing I've been looking at is just before and then I'll let you guys get on with your sort of start your section. I have been thinking about presentation software, and like it's interesting how everyone's like presentation software, and I sort of explained it to my dad. My parents came up to visit because obviously the baby, they drove the 6 hours, and I'm talking about doing these like guest things, and I asked him about maybe you could do a paleontology thing and come on and use CueCam. So I sort of took him through it, and I realized like people are really used to Keynote, and well, I mean they're not even used to Keynote, they're used to PowerPoint, and they may have tried Keynote, but I thought I love the script-based editor of CueCam, but I can see the value of providing a more traditional feeling mode of editing. So I've been sort of tinkering with this. So this is just a quick demo. So now like basically it looks a bit more like Keynote. There's thumbnails on the side and just like in-place editing for stuff, and you can set the layout. So there's quite a lot of, and then like the speaker notes down in the bottom, as you can see, you saw me sort of edit some speaker notes. So it's exactly the same stuff, but it just kind of feels a bit more like Sorry, weird video from earlier. It feels a bit more like, like a traditional piece of presentation software, and you can sort of, I think you can feel your way around it. You know what you're going to get on the screen a bit more.
Well,
Um,
that's really very exciting. Again, you're sort of giving a advanced organizers for what we're talking about, because we were talking about CueCam presenter, and the Q is the pre-production, and what you were showing there was the pre-production, queuing the show up and
mm,
being able to modify it and do it. And then the cam is when you're locking it into the presentation that you want, and then you go to the presenter mode. But that's pretty exciting because
mm,
many of us were used to a storyboarding model, and there's
yeah.
storyboarding for video, but a slide deck was, lots of people use slide decks to do storyboarding, and then you do the motion between, and you're having that all your cards on the side being able to, and then you could shuffle them around. You're taking me back to the days of overhead transparency where I could move one from the bottom to the middle of the deck and then put it
Yeah,
into my presentation.
And
which is
if I
all,
can jump in
equally
here,
possible.
I've
Yeah,
got
like,
a little interjection. Last
mm,
night I had this thought, and since you have a new baby, I thought if PowerPoint and Camtasia had a baby, and then that's what we have, and
yeah.
you had Zoom to distribute it, and it's something that you just never had before. But I think that you're right on that people are comfortable with either one or the other. But when you have Zoom, you want to have them in a place where you can do the whole job.
Mm, okay. Well, listen,
I
this
can't
is
get that
enough
image
from
out of
me.
PowerPoint, and anyway, we won't go into that.
Let's go into it because that is enough from me, and I'm gonna hand it over to you guys now. So I'm gonna sort of like sit back and let you guys kind of show us what you've prepared.
Well, since we've interrupted you from time to time, feel free to interrupt John and I at any time. John, over
I
to you.
certainly will.
Over to me. Gee whiz. Okay. Let me remove your spotlight so we can get next to each other. Speaker view. Hang on. Remove spotlight. There you go. Hello. Okay, I should be on, am I? The idea here is that we surprised ourselves by seeing that when two people have CueCam, it compounds the value of the meeting beyond what we thought. And actually, what we got done took us in places we didn't think we were going to go. And so the idea here is that we wanted to take a small task. And the idea was let's go to ChatGPT, let's ask it how it would say we'll do that task. Let's sort of follow that angle, and then let's reconsider that task in light of what we can do with CueCam. And so, John, maybe you can set it up and tell us what we're going to do.
Well, what we did is we started, and I said I was sort of the client. John was going to be the production team, and I said we really want to help people figure out how to set their audio settings on their Mac. How to select what is going to be the speaker, what's going to be the microphone. We want to deal with the how to turn the volume down on alerts. And so John typed that into the chat GTP portion and gave us a set of decks or suggested cards. I don't know if you have that, John.
Yeah, and what I got is a whole list of things that started step by step with, we're going to go in. Actually, we did it first with displays. So, you're going to go in, go find the Apple menu, go down the Apple menu, find displays. And then it goes on and on and on and
Well,
on.
and what we did, John, is this is what you did. So this is what we got generated, and which was fun because always getting the first words down on paper are the hard thing. But we said open system settings, and this was the instructions that were listed in the card that was generated through the artificial intelligence. And I said, oh, way too much text. So, but this is sort of our prompt on how we would do this. So when we were looking at it, it said begin, click on the Apple icon in the top left corner, select a screen, system preferences, do the drop down. We said, okay, we could create a little video that does that. We could use what am I saying? My little deck, the senior moment, shoot and
Video pencil.
thank you. That's my old age. I was still thinking that, babe. Anyways, use video pencil and do a little animation. And then we said, oh, and also maybe we should teach them how to do shortcuts also. So that one card and this frame helped John and I beginning to think through what we wanted to do. So I said, John, let's get rid of that text.
Well, now wait a second. Before we do
Okay.
that, I actually took a step and I did that little walkthrough where I used CueCam like Camtasia to record a screen share. And likewise, I think we all think it's pretty boring, so I'm not going to show very much of it.
We'll
I'm
show a
going to
little
go
bit, Jeff.
over to this guy here. All right, there is the Apple button, and I'm going to click on it. And you can see system preferences right there. So I'm going to hit system preferences, and it brings up this panel. All right, I'm not going to have us go through the excruciating experience that many of us have seen when teachers or, oh, I've got this screen share, I created a video out of it. We really weren't too impressed. So
Well, I
pick it
better
up.
say we weren't impressed, John, but we did a number of things. We said, oh, that video, we could have sped it up and slowed it down. But what impressed, when it's John and John, they don't know which John we're talking about. So I do John D versus John I. When John D showed me that, I said, this is the dilemma of people working collaborative on projects. Typically, I would have given, as a subject matter expert on this, loosely, I would have said to my production people, this is what I'm trying to do. I might give them some notes. They would have taken notes on what I've asked. They would have gone back. They might have gone in the old days to Camtasia. They might have just done a screen capture through iMovie or QuickTime. And then they would have brought it to me and I would have looked at it and I'll go, that's not what I want. That's not what I asked for. Because the translation of me trying to explain what I wanted missed. And so then they would say, well, what do you really want? And it's much easier to critique something that you see, but how do you get it quickly? And what we found that we were iterating very quickly because we could go from brainstorming to implementation to reviewing it. And we were both able to annotate and mark. So we were very quickly going through the queue or the pre-production process of the program that we were working on. So John, why don't you talk about what we did here?
So basically, I'm in demo mode, and I've got my bunch of cards. But the main thing is that I can get into the live tool itself. And when I pull up system settings, appearance shows up, but I want to go down to displays. And now to change the resolution of that display, I can now choose which display I want to do. I can now change its orientation, all the things that someone may want to learn to do, I'm able to now demonstrate live in the process of taking somebody through how to do it.
Right.
And
And since I'm in CueCam, I was able to do the same thing. I say, well, John, I think we should do, I needed a better drawing. I said, why don't we count the number of lines down you go for somebody? And so you could see that if John, can we get the two up of us?
yes,
Remember how we
I'm
did that?
getting there. You're way ahead of me, though. I'm running as fast as I can.
So and Michael, anytime you want to comment on the what the Johns and Johns are doing, because we want to make sure we're not doing something that you feel is too strange. But we
Well, I
were
mean,
both,
I'm sort of waiting to see where you're going with this, and sort of building up a little checklist of things to to sort of like discuss from my own perspective. For now,
you're getting,
I just want to sort of like see where you're going, and then so I don't want to like preempt you if you already
no,
know something,
not a
but yeah.
problem. But what we're showing here is that, I could be looking and doing whatever annotation that seemed to make sense. I could be, let me switch to this one here. Drawing famous last words. There we go. I could be making annotations and doing things. John could be looking at it. So I've got what I'm looking at with my CueCam sharing that screen. John is in the demonstration mode, so I'm actually seeing what card he's working on and then seeing the example of what he's doing. So we found this to be really very powerful for both of us to be able to jump back and forth. And then at the particular moment that we didn't need to be looking at what we're doing, but we would go back to the main camera, I would just go ahead and switch to the camera, and I'm probably going to have a technical problem here because we're going way
Well,
too big. There we go.
well,
And now I'm
there
back
you
to the
are.
big camera.
And the fun part about this, and this is where the collaboration comes in, we got to a place where we wouldn't have got to individually. And so the old model of, let's see, I'm coming up here and I'm going to get out of demo mode. Okay. All right. The old model of passing something to somebody else in a different department, you go do your job, then pass that to somebody else, they do their job, and then you're stuck as an executive with all those pieces and you've got to figure out, do they fit together with the vision, with the purpose, with what you're trying to do? And what we found is by being here together, and here's what my screen looks like. Oh, you're a white background. You're a black background. Oh, you have size of text options. I do not. Oh, you take things from here's what I've done in the past, let's move forward. And you take things like a snowplow and say, there's a path, let's polish it a little bit more than we did before. And let's make something that works for both of us. And in the end, that collaboration turned out to be more important than the tools. The tools disappeared because we had the ability to bring everything that was at our disposal and put it in front of us.
Which got to the teleprompter because when it depends on how good of a poker player you are, but neither John D or John I, now I'm talking to myself in the royal we, now that's the British influence, I guess. Neither of us are good poker players. So when we're full screen looking at the other person's work, you could tell in their eyes, oh, that's not quite what I had in mind. And so and you could have done this. We do this in other softwares. This is not magic. Lots of times people would be sharing screens, there would be multiple screens, you'd be flipping back and forth. But we found just how easy that was to do when you had the common software and you would be able to instantly make a change and play it back. And we had a little extra feature because as we were going through this, we actually recorded it to Zoom in the cloud, which gave us ISO cameras, gave us a transcript. So it did the note taking for us. It said, oh, this is what we wanted to do. This is what we said. So We just spent the time getting ready for the John D and John A show. John D, there wasn't there a song that had the John D in it, but
Not in my time.
Yeah, well, I think like as long as it's me that has to specify which John, you two can just say John. Um, it's only me that has to like put a D or an I. Um, but listen, it sounds to me like you know it's a small thing, isn't it? But both of you being able to have a screen share going at the same time suddenly opens up this collaboration that wasn't there before, and that's going over the webcam. And I think it's weird how just such a tiny little adjustment can lead to this kind of like transformation of how you're collaborating. And like, for me, I'm like, what are they talking? Oh right, it's just they can both screen share, not have to keep going, can I have the screen share? And you constantly like you have to interrupt the other person talking and ask them to press a button in Zoom, and like by the time you've done that, the flow of conversation is completely gone. And yeah, I think people can see. I hope people can see the value of that. Um, I see someone, Ree Anderson, says maybe we can get a sync function to tie two or more CueCams together. We're not quite there on the real time collaboration, but what we do, one of the key things that I did build CueCam to be able to do was to be able to send each other the CueCam documents. So if you are putting stuff together, that one person can have it and the other person can have it, and that just try that with OBS. Like it's not going to happen. But yeah, let me just sort of that my sort of first reactions to what you were saying. Yeah, as soon as you started putting all that chat GPT text on the screen, I'm like, look, that's not a title, that's your teleprompter text. Show, don't tell. Like, show the thing, and then you've got the teleprompter text to remind you what you need to say, right? Don't stick the whole thing on the screen, otherwise we're back in one of those grim presentations where someone just like puts a load of text on the screen. So, yes, and then when you are making demos like that, when I saw that you'd done screen resolutions, I was like, you have picked the most annoying one for CueCam to handle, because you're changing the screen resolution on the fly, and that is going to like mess with it. It's not going to be happy about that. I have not.
We found that out, so we said we'll do our demo with sound after we
Yeah,
did
like
that.
it's like, come on, guys, like it's only new. I haven't sort of anticipated someone wanting to dynamically change their screen resolution. Like I'm kind of trying to keep things under control. So sure, but when you saw when I demoed, you saw me demo the new CueCam features earlier, like that presentation mode. Now,
The presentation with the slides on the side, that
yeah,
little
with the
demo,
slides.
yeah.
Yeah, so how did I do that? Like I could have tried to switch into a real-time demo of CueCam, but that's buggy code. I know it might crash. I mean, it's a slightly different thing when it's the software itself that you're demonstrating, but tech demos are sketchy to do live. And I think what you've seen is, well, actually, I think in those circumstances, you do want a quick screen recording. But I talked to education. One of the interviews on Squares TV is with some educators, and they really told me the secret to this, which was record. Is record a silent video of the demo, and then talk through it as though you are currently doing it yourself. Right? And CueCam makes that super easy. And you can actually, like, if you just go into CueCam, hit screen share or select the window, start recording, and then you can just go over to a card. Let me see if I can show you this. If it's recording, and you have a card, you can start recording, and that sort of takes a minute to start. We see this is that should be recording, and then once you've finished the recording, go over to video and press finish, and that just goes onto the card now. So there are no more so now you can just have that little clip, and that just sits on the card like that, and you didn't have to even kind of like fire up QuickTime or do some other stuff. So this is something that I've built into it. It's not the most discoverable thing, but it's there. Like you can get the recording, and if you want to record
I just have that is nothing short of amazing. Again, thinking it as an instructional designer, I would go to my subject matter experts and ask them each of those questions and make that recording, because then I wouldn't have to go back and ask them for it again. I have it, it's a deck, and it's there, and it's a low overhead for them.
Yeah. And then you just stick it in and you pretend you're doing it, and guess what? Like you don't have to like if one of the steps is reboot, then good luck. You know, if one of the steps is if you want to show how to do something for the first time, like then you try and show someone how to do it, and it's like, oh, I've already done this, so it's not there. So that's just really important. And then the only other thing, my only other note on your decks that I saw there, you, oh, I'm echoing. You've got
Yeah,
to be careful with those with that
somebody's
text.
speaker is on.
Somebody's speaker is on. I don't think it's me.
It's not me.
Oh, is it
I don't
me?
know. Shall we? Okay, is it still happening if I mute myself? Oh, I don't know. I think we persevere. This is more likely to be a Zoom thing than a CueCam thing, thankfully. Look, the other thing is just there's only so much I can do to kind of keep the typography looking good in CueCam. I'm trying to make it possible for you not to have like stuff at different sizes all over the place, but just if you're doing a text heavy thing, just maybe maybe don't use a title because the text kind of starts to visually collide with the other stuff. And but yeah, so I saw sort of you had the demo mode sort of here and then like a screen share here and then there was some sort of text awkwardly half across it, so just try and sort of like look out for like lines intersecting each other. And that's just it's just I think there's only so much I can do to kind of like enforce things to look pretty. But yeah, that was the only other thing I thought about for that. But yeah, like I think this is cool, like unexpected benefits of multiple screen shares. I think is very exciting.
Well, the other thing that happens with that, the ability to focus on each of those steps. Oh, now I may be the feedback, but that really is a ability to rapidly prototype what you want to show and do, and that's pretty impressive. Now I may be the feedback, but that really is an ability to rapidly prototype what you want to show and do, and that's pretty impressive.
Okay, no one heard any of that. Yeah, so it must be you, John. I think you must have the YouTube video playing somewhere, and it's leaking into the into the
Are
microphone
we
somehow.
clear now?
Yeah, yeah. It sounds like we're good now, although it's been a few seconds. I can't believe I just spoke for so long. So is that what's next? Is there any more to this? Are we? Is this the John's section?
That was the John section,
All
and
right.
I think I may have that audio coming back. I'm not sure exactly why, but we're always having fun here.
I think there's a YouTube window somewhere coming out of a computer. Um, all right. Well, thanks. Well, thanks so much for preparing this. It's like it's really good to sort of hear how just see that different perspective on things because I'm in my own funny world, and it's just nice to see how the sort of social benefit. It's like I always think of it like for ages, I was waiting for, I went on holiday to New York on my own. I was going, my phone only has a camera on the back. It's really hard to take good pictures with my camera. And I was like, one day they'll have cameras on the front. And then sure enough, soon we got cameras on the front of phones. And that was a hardware, just like an evolution, an obvious step for, oh, let's have one on the front as well as the back. But from that, exploded, the selfie, like the influencer, like all of these social phenomena that emerge from this kind of very small technological switch. And I am still like, we are still on like day one of CueCam, and but I just feel like there's going to be stuff like that. I think people are going to find, once you start getting creative with this, I think there can be cultural things can happen culturally once we're able to communicate in this way, and I'm quite excited to see that. Um, you're muted, John. I can't hear you, John D. I'm not hearing you. Oh, still muted. Is it on? You can just switch to your direct mic.
I had
Yeah, there we
muted
go.
myself.
Yeah.
So the thought was that when people started taking selfies, to me, I said, turn the camera around, take what you see. I'm not interested in you. I'm interested in what you see and what you think about the world around you. So I think we're moving into an area where creating a world model is where, the Facebook LLM guy look he is talking about that's where machine learning is going. And I think by having a camera in your pocket, being able to show people what you see, being able to share your perception or what it means to you is a whole step forward. And tools like CueCam they're going to emerge. This just happens to be out in front of the pack. You're way out there.
And I figured out where
Excellent.
the audio was coming from.
Oh, congratulations.
And
And on my Mac here, I have a thing for rerouting audio and loop back, and it decided to turn itself on without me knowing it was there. So I apologize. That
being
was
clever.
totally
Yeah.
that is not a CueCam problem. That was pure operator error from me.
No, that's great. I'm glad you figured it out because it's always. It sounded like it was coming through a microphone, but yeah. Anyway, listen. I think we're sort of nearly ready to wrap up. But I had that one more thing. Let's bring back one more thing. Um, I actually love this way of doing live streams, and I want to give more people a chance to join in. So I am opening up this stream to more guest presenters. So I want a 20-minute talk or less. Like if you've got 10 minutes, that's fine. Where you can talk about whatever you want, like something you're really interested in, ideally, and it doesn't have to be anything to do with technology. It can be about your stamp collection or something, or you can like pitch a product that you've, I don't know, like you can do something for work. I don't mind. The only stipulation is that you use CueCam to do it. So you come on here, you sort of come with your CueCam deck, and you're going to show something, and you're going to get people excited in it, or we've got a nice little audience, very friendly. We're all quite relaxed here. It's quite small, so like you're safe. You're in a safe space, but it's a really great place to sort of, I just want to hear from people. I want to see what you're doing. I want to hear about the stuff you're doing, and not have a conversation about the technology. Have a conversation about whatever you're interested in. So, and the way I want to do that is so if you get in touch with me, like we can book in a call beforehand where I will help you one-on-one to get the most out of the app. Maybe even I can like help you if you don't know which content would work. I can even help you make those decisions. And if like I see that there's an opportunity for a feature in CueCam that would make your presentation even better, then I could probably just chuck it in, Like I'll be like, oh, it'd be really cool if he had like motion graphics or a graph that animated at that point. Maybe we can try and figure something out like that in time for the schedule. He or she or they. Sorry. So if anyone has got something, I see a raised hand from Cyprian. So yeah, just drop me an email or reply to the email that went out today or come onto Discord. But I really just want to hear from you guys. And like ideally if I can stick that on the website as well. It's a huge win for me. But yeah, just sort of put together a CueCam deck, bring it onto here, and we'll all kind of have like get interested in what you're interested in. So like a show and tell basically. So yeah, here's where we hang out on squares.tv/Discord. You can get to Discord. And someone told me that the Discord's dash CueCam was going to a weird place, so I fixed that link as well. But also just email me directly, michael@squares.tv. I'm kind of, even if I'm holding a baby, then I can still probably kind of have a look. And
You'll
what I'm
be
trying to
up
do is
more
make a
hours
little
now.
form.
You'll be checking it more regularly now,
Yeah, exactly.
along with feeding
I
times.
wanted to set, yeah, I want to set up a little web form where you can put in what you want to talk about, and you can sort of select an appointment to have a chat with me, and we can just sort of get it all running quite. But like, I don't think we need that level of automation just yet. So just let me know, and I will be like poking people to do something, put something together. But really, like something the more esoteric, the more weird, the better. Like I would just love to hear about it, and so today, I'm going to give you this is a snippet from a music video that I created in code. So it's for my song Get Connected, and it's a 3JS thing. It's all real-time dynamic thing. I can actually walk around this live performance, and it was a very intense project over several months. And this is sort of one of the few artifacts I've got of it. It was a weird time. But yeah, so that's what's going to play us out. So you can have a look at how that all came together. And thank you so much, John, and thank you so much, John, for helping me out so much. Not just this week, also last week.
A pleasure as
And
always. And if they're going to do something weirder than us, that's the challenge. Go for it. It was a wonderful experience prepping for it, so I encourage people to take you up on your offer.
cool. All right, everybody. Thanks. And to play you out, it's my song.